In this video, I'm going to show how to use tarot and tarot reading as part of a manifestation practice. Now, not the usual way that people talk about, which is kind of using the symbolism of the tarot and visualizing. It's actually using tarot symbolism as a replacement thought in conjunction with your manifestation practice. But I'll explain this with an example of how I used it recently. So as background, I live in Phnom Penh. I've been all around the world and manifested a life of simplicity in the country that I love and blah, blah, blah. But my past was pretty bad. You know, when I was a young person, I had agoraphobia. I stayed in one room for a few years in a house by myself. And I had social phobia. For much of my life, I found it difficult to be around people or to talk. And I'm okay now. You know, nowadays, I'm actually into stand-up comedy, and I also give talks about, you know, the kind of new age things that I'm into to large crowds. I've won awards, you know, in different places in Asia for my public speaking. So now I'm over myself. Public speaking is really important to me because, as I said, it never gets old. If you spend years in a room and you can't talk, and then you get over to the point that you can go in front of a huge crowd, even though there's stage fright and everything, it never gets old. So it's important for me to stay connected also to communities of people that I know from my public speaking. So I do that. But it's still not easy sometimes because, you know, I'm quite a lot older than the people that I'm around nowadays because I'm living in kind of the expatriate kind of scene. And sometimes, for example, when there's pictures of me and the other people that are speaking and stuff, I'm always the older one and stuff. And also, I've got quite a flat effect. You know, I'm not really like, oh, hi, how are you? And my really expressive face. I'm just a quiet, serious person. And I think I'm a bit heavy for people. Like, people, they give talks and say there's a night of talks and people are giving talks about, you know, how to decorate your house and everything. And I stand up and I give a talk about, you know, trance hypnosis or something. And I think I frighten people. I just feel a bit outside and I stopped. Because recently I'm going a lot less and doing a lot less of talking. And the way I feel kind of bad, sometimes I bump into somebody from the scene and they're like, oh, where are you? Why aren't you speaking now? And like, I want to, and I don't want to because I like to be alone. I find people draining as well. It's really important to stay connected to communities, but I really love solitude and I just feel really quite torn as to what I should do. You know, so I did a tarot reading to ask what to do, okay? So I go through the reading and then explain how I use the symbolism. So I did the horseshoe reading. And the question is, what shall I do about my public speaking thing? Shall I do it or not? So the past card, I got King of Cups. So that kind of shows a maturity person, and it's to do with emotion. So that's I saw as me, and I've overcome all of the things I had when I was younger. You know, I'm not agoraphobic. I like to speak now. That's kind of the maturity of my spiritual practice that made me very confident socially. Okay. So in the present card, I got the Page of Wands. So I thought, okay, that's me also, because what I'm doing now is, you know, a page means something new, it's something young, and wands is all of this energy. This is all the new ventures. I want to do a website, I want to do a YouTube channel, so I'm kind of not doing as much public speaking because of the new things that I'm doing, a new direction, where there might be a new community. And you people out there, maybe you're going to be my new buddies, and it's not going to be so much on the expatriate scene where people don't always get the strange things that I'm into. Maybe people online are going to get me a bit more. So the future cards, I've got the Knight of Pentacles. Now, of course, the Knight is a stage on from the page. And I thought, okay, look, that's going to be some successes saying, yeah, keep going with the YouTube and the website because, you know, then commercially that can work. If there's Pentacles involved like that, going forward, these new ventures are worth putting time into because it takes a lot of time to plan. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So when I've got, say, some talk coming up, it takes all of my time. And that time can be on these other ventures where I'm going into a new community. So I thought, okay. Now, the way I do this reading, I always skip the next card, which is advice. Because I think if the end result, the outcome, is a bit negative, then you can go to the advice. Then you can always make something positive of the advice. So it's always a positive reading. So I skip to the card that represents the current environment around me. And I've got the Queen of Pentacles. Now, at that time, I was quite close to a lady I was meeting at night time, and she's pretty good at business. She's kind of like well, I'd say a bit of a hustler in a way. She's quite good at making money. This is my kind of friend, and it made me think, look, I do have other friends I know around. You know, not all my friends are to do with the public speaking scene. You know, I've got friends kind of socially on the bar scene, so I can just, it's not that I'm by myself, it's just that I'm not public speaking. So I can do these other business things I want to do, and my new communities are making a channel. And less public speaking, it's not that I'm losing everything. I'm just, you know, getting my social needs elsewhere, which is fine. And then the challenge card, I got the Knight of Swords. Also me, I thought, yes, stay focused on business because the momentum's going along, okay? So I need to keep on fighting and keep the business going. Everything was great. That was great. So I just thought, look, I'm getting this great reading. It's telling me what to do. Then I did the outcome. Okay, so the outcome was Ten of Swords. Now, I was certainly sure. Everything's going great. Oh, look, yep, you should absolutely leave the public speaking scene and get on with it. Make this business. All of a sudden, there I am lying on the floor covered in blood. Like, are you kidding me? Now, so far, I was just looking at it thinking, well, what does it mean? Because it's almost all court cards. And I always feel court cards, I feel cheated. Because is that an aspect of me? Is it somebody else? It could be anybody. I don't like to get court cards. But I thought, no, look, I'm sitting there looking, it's all court cards. And it's not me, and it's not some other specific person. I think that represents the audience, and it represents the scene. You know, it's me, it's the audience, it's everything. It's not specific people. And it's saying, I'm stabbing myself in the back by leaving that scene. You know? So I did the advice card finally, and I got the Eight of Swords. Now, I'm showing the pack that's public domain. I actually used Morgan Greer, which is two wrists tied together. But it means self-limiting or defeating thoughts. So if you look at the one that I'm showing, it shows the lady tied up, and she's surrounded by these swords which are keeping her in. But the swords are actually, there's lots of gaps. You could easily walk out. It means self-limiting and defeating thoughts. So when I go to the scene and I, you know, say for example, I go to a comedy scene thing, and I kind of feel a bit left out and stuff if I'm not performing. But of course, the point of comedy is you're part of a community. As a comic, I'm supposed to sit there in front and laugh and support the comedians. You're still part of something, even if I'm not, you know, being bounced up and down off everybody's shoulders. It doesn't mean that I'm not part of the scene. It is important for me to keep on knowing people like that. I do need to keep on writing my speeches and performing in front of people, because the thing with this kind of, you know, as I was a kid, as agoraphobia, sometimes I'd get a bit better. And when I start to hermit myself and be alone, which is what I really like, it goes too far. I get very isolated. I naturally tend to isolate myself, and it's important, I think, to connect to physical people, not just online. So I've decided, look, I am going to go to the scene then. I am going to carry on and watch speeches and keep writing and stuff. And when I'm sitting there, sometimes, I'm not, like I say, I'm not being bumped up and down off people's shoulders, and people like me and everything, but I just think, oh, you know, it's in my mind, look, you know, I'm the oldest one in the group again, so therefore, they don't like me, they wish I wasn't here, or there's a lineup, and I'm giving a talk about some aspect of manifestation, and all the other talks are about business and nerdy things, and oh, look, I don't fit in, and it's thoughts. It's all these thoughts that I don't fit in, I'm not nerdy enough, I'm not young enough. They're thoughts. You know, you look at the card, there's nothing stopping that lady getting up and walking away. So using the Morgan Greer pack, which I prefer, I can't show you because it's copyrighted, but that is my image. Okay, now, in conjunction with a meditation practice, which I'll also be teaching, but it's basically concentration, learning to hold a mental image for longer than 1 minute until whatever thought you've got is interrupted and doesn't come back. So go out to the scene, start to get these self-limiting thoughts. And I remember the advice of the tarot is it's self-limiting thoughts. Okay, and I hold that picture in my mind. If I'm sitting there with all this internal voice saying, you know, they don't want you, blah, 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 I hold that image and I wait until I can feel that there's kind of a thought pressure of a thought. And I can feel the thought pressure of the thought just receding, that I know it's not going to, if I do it for say 10 seconds, I know straight away, as soon as my concentration's gone, that thought will come back, oh, they don't want me, blah, 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 the negative, the self-limiting thoughts. But I remember that card, it means something to me because I feel that there's an energy in the universe that gave me that advice. That's the symbolism. It's saying you're self-limiting. Get on the scene, because no one comes up and tells you, look, you're not welcome here. You're into New Age stuff and we're all nerds and stuff. No one says that. You know, they buy me a drink, they say hello, they treat me the same as you, but it's in my mind. You know, so I hold that card until the thought pressure of those self-limiting thoughts are gone and I feel they're not going to come back. Now, it might be they come back after 10 minutes. I'm sitting there by myself and everybody's ignoring me. No, there's the image in my mind, and I imagine the image located inside of my body, and I hold it for maybe more than a minute with pure concentration. And when that happens, then those thoughts, they do eventually go. You can use that image to change the stream of consciousness. So that is, but then it becomes part of manifestation, because part of manifestation, of course, is mental diet. You need to stay in the state of the wish fulfilled and not listen to this negative self-talking or seeing negative images. And you can cling to the image that the tarot gives you as advice, and you can hold it to reset the stream of thought, to stay in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to stay positive, and to stay with the feeling that you actually want to feel now and that you want to manifest from in the future. And that is how I'm using tarot as a manifestation tool. So let me know what you think about it. And feel free to subscribe and let me know you subscribed and say hello in the comments, because that helps the algorithm. And always think for yourself, because I'm not always right. I'm always Jay.